The Rwanda-backed rebels took the city of Minova after dislodging government forces on Tuesday. Located on the shores of Lake Kivu, Minova is a nerve center for logistics and supplies to Goma, the provincial capital of North Kivu. The capture of Minova increases pressure on Goma and Sake cities and the threat of disruption of navigation on Lake Kivu. Water transport has increasingly become important in Congo's east as people shun road transport due to rebel activity. The Congolese army said it was engaged in confrontations with rebels, adding that it had repulsed attempts on Lubero, Sake and Nyiragongo towns. There has been an uptick in violence since the leaders of Congo and Rwanda failed to reach an agreement at talks mediated by Angola in December. The Rwandan president did not show up in Luanda. He demanded that Kinshasa hold talks with rebels, a condition Congo considers a non-starter. The United Nations has said that Rwanda has about 4,000 soldiers fighting alongside the M23 in Congo's east. Kigali denies the accusation.
South African artillery heading towards the front line. They're among the foreign forces helping Democratic Republic of Congo's army, as are UN-sanctioned armed groups. It's lost swathes of territory in the east to the M23 armed group whose fighters are closing in on the provincial capital Goma. Rwandan forces have been widely documented fighting alongside them. Hospitals in Goma have become overwhelmed with civilian casualties. Rights groups say Congo's army positions artillery in displacement camps and that Rwandan soldiers and M23 fighters have bombed camps indiscriminately. Jeanette Matondo says soldiers told everyone in her village to leave to avoid incoming bombs.
We packed our bags, took our children and left. When we reached the checkpoint, a bomb fell on us. I was thrown backward in the direction I'd come from. I still had my baby on my back and my belongings were next to me. But everyone around me was dead, crushed like meat.
About 2 million people have been forced from their homes since the conflict restarted 3 years ago. The UN says it's getting worse.
The conflict is further intensifying across South and North Kivu provinces. The displacement figures have now surged to more than 400,000 people this year alone, which is almost double the number that was reported just last week.
It's not the first time several African countries have fought each other here. Since the 1990s, 2 major wars and decades of persistent conflict have killed millions of people. At the centre of it is Congo's vast mineral wealth. Cheers as helicopters fire rockets on M23 positions. Many here have lived under the control of Rwandan and Ugandan-backed armed groups before. These people don't want it to happen again. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.
Rwanda-backed M23 rebels claim they have captured eastern Congo's largest city of Goma. The United Nations has described a, quote, mass panic among its 2 million people, and Congo's government says the rebel advance is a, quote, declaration of war. For more on this, let's bring in Bloomberg's Indira Oganga, who is in Kigali for us following the story. So, Indira, walk us through how the situation in eastern Congo has escalated like this in the past few days.
Hi, Jen. This fighting has really taken a different turn in the last couple of days. Let's take a look at the last 24 hours, for example. On the 26th of January, Bloomberg reported that the M23 rebels were just 9 kilometers north of Goma. On the 27th in the morning, we woke up to news that M23 rebels have seized the town of Goma. And they posted on their X saying, "We urge all residents of Goma to remain calm. The liberation of the city has been successfully carried out." Goma is a town near the border of Rwanda, and it's a key key trading hub. And this cessation or seizure by M23 rebels could mean that there could be full war prospects that we could be looking at. You also have M23 rebels that have seized control of the airspace in DRC, and they've blocked all movement of people and humanitarian aid in and out of this city. And you have the UN saying that water, electricity infrastructure has been damaged, humanitarian aid workers are running out of money. Then you have people. Goma was one of the last safe havens in the eastern part of DRC. People are fleeing, not knowing where to go. Their children and whatever belongings they could pack on their bags. The UN says at least 178,000 people have been displaced since January. And from the recent fighting that we've seen, 3 peacekeepers from South Africa and Uruguay have been killed and 11 have been wounded.
And Indira, we were just talking a few days ago about Rwanda and the DRC and potentially Turkey helping to mediate some resolution between the two. What does this latest development then mean for that?
Tension is fast rising between the two countries. You have the government of DRC that accused Rwandan troops of crossing the border, terming it as a declaration of war. You also have Congo, the US, and the UN accusing Rwanda of backing M23 rebels, not only with weapons, but also boots on the ground. The UN also says that Rwanda has been using GPS jamming and spoofing equipment that is blocking relief efforts. And because M23 have now seized Goma, they control the world's largest deposit of tantalum ore that is used in portable electronics, and these minerals are being shipped to Rwanda and then loaded into the global ecosystem, according to DRC, and they're asking an embargo to be placed from gold and coltan that is coming from Rwanda. On the other hand, Rwanda is responding. The ambassador to Rwanda, or rather the ambassador to UN from Rwanda, says Congo's inability to govern itself and control active armed groups is the root cause of problems in that country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also in Rwanda has released a statement criticizing the lack of context in the statements that are being put out there. They're saying they're misguided and manipulative. Rwanda is being scapegoated, but all in all, Rwanda remains to a peaceful process and finding peace in DRC.